me if this scenario sounds familiar. Alright, you're taking Fido out for a lovely walk and you see another dog. Fido goes crazy. He desperately wants to go say hi to that other dog. Now, you want him to have fun playing with other dogs and be well socialized. But should you reward this pulling behavior with the meet and greet? But if you don't, will he be frustrated? And maybe your neighbor's gonna be offended. That's a lot to dig into, but in today's video, I'm gonna tell you how to set up a good meet and greet with another dog. Now, I think you need to hear this because honestly, I'm not hearing enough dog trainers talk about this important topic. And I see way too many dog owners doing it the wrong way when I'm out on my walks. All right, let's dive in. Okay, how do you know if you should let Fido go say hi to another dog? Well, first, I want you to look for neutrality. So if Fido's tugging on the leash and whining and jumping just to go say hi, that's a no. Fido is way too excited or overstimulated to have a good meet and greet. And the other dog probably won't love this behavior, so you're already off on the wrong foot. What you do want to look for is complete neutrality before they actually get to interact with one another. Now that means no overstimulated or excited behavior. Fido might see the dog, and you could see some ears twitching or a tail wagging just a little bit more, but that's the most we should see. Now, once you see this neutrality at a distance, say maybe 25 feet, you can then move slightly closer. Now, if you continue to see it at 20 feet apart and then neutrality at 15 feet apart, you're gonna keep going. If at any time Fido becomes overexcited, it's time to get further away, not closer. You can evaluate if Fido's gonna settle back down, to try again, or maybe it's just not the right day for a meet and greet. Now, during this time, you're gonna wanna be watching your dog's body language very carefully. If Fido looks up at you, this is a good thing, and you should reward him with a simple yes, and maybe a piece of kibble from your treat pouch. Now, if he chomps at your hand and takes the food excitedly, well, that can be a big indication of overexcitement, and he's not yet ready for this greeting. So during this time that you're approaching the other dog and you're watching Fido carefully, avoid the temptation to talk to him or pet him. I know you might be trying to soothe him, but he's really focused and he's taking in all the new information about the other dog with his nose. He doesn't need you distracting him. This could lead to Fido getting agitated. Kinda like if you were busy on a project and someone comes up to try to play with your hair. Now, knowing when to pet our dogs is a big part of understanding canine body language. And if you don't feel like you have a good handle on that second language just yet, you're gonna love my online course. In addition to all the games to teach good manners and recall and leash skills and crate training, you're gonna get a big lesson all about canine body language. Most of my students say it's their favorite part of the course. Now, if this already sounds like a lot more work than you were anticipating, I'm not surprised. But teaching dogs new things does take a bit of work and a lot of patience. Now, it's very common that you're gonna not be able to meet and greet a dog on the first time you see him or her. It actually might take several weeks of seeing new dogs at a distance before you start to see that neutrality that you look for before you get closer. And you can also work on this in training sessions. So this means doing some exposure training at a distance to help create that neutral emotion when other dogs are around. Now, I go into that in this video about exposure and socialization if you need a refresher. And the bottom line here is that you need to take this super slow and at a pace where your dog shows comfort, not fear or overstimulation. That's how you're gonna set up good habits for a lifetime. And believe me, you're gonna have a lifetime of meeting and greeting other dogs on walks. And the more you work on this now, when you have a young puppy, the easier it will be. It's a lot harder to untrain bad habits. And it's much easier to go slow, keep the dog in a calm emotional state, and train Fido well from the beginning. It just requires more patience on the part of the human. But I believe in you, you can do this. Okay, there are a few other quick tips for meet and greets. And then I want to tell you about how to avoid dangerous problems during playdates. Number 1, do not allow dogs to sniff each other through a fence. I know, this may seem like a perfect way to keep them safe, but in dog training, we often run into barrier frustration. Now, this means that the dog's frustration is at not being able to reach the exciting thing that leads to the frustration. The exciting thing. Now the frustration and agitation gets transferred to the other dog, or even you. No good. Avoid fences. Number 2. Now we want to allow a little butt sniffing. Now if you've ever seen the calm, relaxed behavior upon approaching another dog, and each dog seems like, yeah, I'll meet him, then you want to allow a little butt sniffing. It should almost be like the dogs go in a little circle, each sniffing each other. This is polite in doggy language and should be encouraged. Nose to nose sniffing is too intense for a dog. In a dog's world, it's actually impolite. This would be like humans meeting each other for the first time and going in for a long, passionate kiss. Ugh, that escalated quickly. Let the doggy handshake happen politely with a little butt sniffing, and it's gonna be much better off. Number 3. We also don't want our dogs to meet each other while on a leash. I know, this becomes highly inconvenient for meeting other dogs on walks. But we are not looking for convenience here. We're actually looking for healthy, well-rounded dogs who do not cause or get into fights. And allowing dogs to greet on leash can actually create the same kind of frustration that comes with meeting through a fence. Something that is agitating or restricting them could actually cause them to take out their frustration on each other. Now, if you're gonna let pups meet each other, get into a fenced-in area, and then take off their leashes. And you should also take off their collars and harnesses too. I've seen too many dogs who get their teeth caught on these tools. And it could lead to an injury of the teeth being ripped out or worse. I've actually seen dogs get their entire jaw caught under a collar or a harness. Now the two dogs are trapped together and then they panic. And you might think I'm just being a negative Nelly, but when I ran play groups, I just saw way too many cases that could have been prevented by allowing for playtime to be naked with no tools on. Number 4, another good idea if you're hoping that the meet and greet will lead to playtime is to set up parallel walks. Now these walks can be done on each side of a street with the dogs heading in the same direction. Again, you're looking for a lack of reaction or neutrality on these walks. Believe me, the dogs know each one is there. And if they both think it's no big deal, this is a good thing, and you can actually continue on this walk and get yourselves to a fenced-in area that can lead to nice play. Now, the meet and greet is really just the beginning because you're gonna wanna know your dog's body language like the back of your hand before your dog ever gets to engage with another dog. Now, when students of my online course upload videos for us to review, sometimes I have to break the bad news that the play session they set up isn't going as well as they thought. Now, that doesn't mean they can't ever play with that dog again. It only means there's some work that has to be done before it should happen again. Remember, we're actually trying to prevent a problem here. It's so much easier than dealing with it when it pops up. So take my advice and take additional steps to make sure it's a safe interaction for all dogs. Knowing what to look for in a play date can be a little confusing though. Dogs play differently than humans. They growl, they use their mouths, they do a lot of wrestling. You might be wondering if this is fun for them, if this is healthy, if the growling means they're angry. It is kind of hard to tell if you're not sure how to read that body language, but I can help you with more of that as part of this next video on what to look for in a puppy playdate. I've got some great examples of healthy playdates, and I'm going to tell you what didn't go so well too. You're going to want to check out that video to learn more about the puppy pass, using an interrupter cue during the playdate, and how to spot self-handicapping in your dog. These are all important concepts. And now, if you thought this video was helpful, you're gonna love some of the other ones I've got coming up. Just subscribe to the channel to get notified, and feel free to give us a super thanks. Now, we do work hard to put these together for you, and we hope you love them. All right, did you accidentally allow an unhealthy meet and greet recently? Hey, that's okay. We are all brave new learners. You can tell me about it in the comments, and if you have any more questions, we can help you with that too. All right, Michelle, your certified trainer and puppy professional, signing off.